Come, Nerevar, come. Look upon the Aedric artifacts you can find in Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls series. Nerevar, did you hear what I said? I said Aedric artifacts, Aedric, meaning the ones from the Aedra, the opposite of a Daedra. You know, Nerevar, I don't blame you. They are all false gods and start sounding the same after a bottle of Sujamma. Except for Lorkhan, maybe. I believe only one of them honors the sixth house and the tribe unmourned more than the others. You should also honor the sixth house and the tribe unmourned while I begin. We start with Auriel's bow. Yes, that one bow that vampire Enwa Harkon wants you to get in order to block out the sun, fulfill a stupid prophecy, and end the tyranny of the sun. That whole prophecy is confusing. Some say the sun being taken out of the picture would have consequences on the life of Nirn, and therefore the vampires themselves. Other vampire supporters claim that it would only prevent the negative effects on the vampires. It is said to have been made to complement its sister artifact, Auriel's shield, which we will talk about more in detail later. This bow makes the wielder invincible while they shoot an arrow from the bow. It is said to have the ability to pierce anything, even the sun. No wonder Harkon wanted to use it for his purposes. I am in need of it myself. We move on to Auriel's shield, which was also created by the false god of the elves, Auriel, as you can tell by its name. Auriel used it during his battle against Lorkhan, and unfortunately, Auriel and his crew won that one. It is said to make the wielder invincible to attacks, so combined with the bow, it should make you invincible, Nerevar. At least in theory. But because false gods create these two artifacts, they might not be foolproof. There is even a rumor that the shield abandons its wielder at the greatest hour of need. Ah, Nerevar, you might be familiar with this one because some Enwa stole it and hid it in Ebonheart. It is called the Lord's Mail, and it belonged to the winged bullman farm tool Morihaus from the Elysian era. The Lord's Mail, also known as the Armor of Morihaus, or the Gift of Kynareth, is an ancient cuirass of unsurpassable quality. It grants the wearer the power to absorb health, resist the effects of spells, and cures the wearer of poison when used. It is said that whenever Kynareth deems the wearer unworthy, the Lord's Mail will be taken away and hidden for the next chosen one. So far you were worthy to wear it, even though Kynareth is a false god of some Enwa hippies. The armor also seems to have lost its absorb health quality. It's just like that situation with Auriel's bow. It's not exactly foolproof. Ah, now we get to Stendarr's hammer. The hammer of the mongrel dog god of justice and mercy, which does not make sense. Stendarr's hammer is a large, impossibly heavy hammer believed to once be wielded by the god of mercy himself. No man could possibly wield the weapon in battle, as it is massive and incredibly heavy, nearly 10 times the weight of a normal hammer. Should someone manage to wield the hammer, it would greatly decrease the wielder's fatigue and deal impeccable damage to its foes. However, it is incredibly fragile. The hammer appears to be crafted of wood and metal, with a massive head comprised of a large, flat, spiked face and a short-horned toe. It was last recorded to be seen on display at the Museum of Artifacts in God's Reach in the Third Era, during the downfall of the False Tribunal. I would not want to believe that the false god of mercy wields such an over-the-top artifact. Does he used to make his enemies beg for mercy? The Paladin's blade, or the Chysemere, is an ancient claymore with offensive capabilities surpassed only by its own defenses. It lends the wielder health, protects him or her from fire, and reflects any spells cast against the wielder back to the caster. Seldom has Chysemere been wielded by any bladesman for any length of time, for it chooses not to favor one champion. You have probably come across it during your travels while serving the mongrel dogs of the Empire. The Amulet of Kings was a powerful soul gem known as the Chim-el-Adabal, the Amulet of Kings' glory. During the First Era, Alessia prayed to false god Akatosh to free her people from the slavery of the Aelids. Akatosh took pity on Alessia and drew his heart's blood and put it in the Chim-el-Adabal. With this covenant, the doors of oblivion are shut to the Daedra. The soul gem becomes the Amulet of Kings, with one large red gem set in the middle, surrounded by 8 smaller gems of differing colors representing the 8 divines. Apparently, it was so important that Joffrey, the incompetent Blades Grandmaster, decided to keep it in a wooden chest. Seriously, Akatosh, Auriel, whatever he is, put actual effort into making this thing for these mongrel dogs, and they'd decide to store it in a wooden box. Anyhow, by the time it is found, it is too late. Mehrunes Dagon is already on Nirn. Martin Septim had to break it, turn into the avatar of Akatosh, defeated Dagon, and then was added to the list of Sean Bean's on-screen deaths. If you're enjoying the sermons, please don't forget to honor the 6th house and the tribe unmourned by raising your thumbs, subscribing to my sermons, and writing on the parchment down below. Oh right, Dibella had this magical paintbrush that she gave this Dunmer artist once. The Brush of Truepaint is an artifact of Dibella, rumored to be woven out of her hair. The wielder of the brush can create worlds and objects within a canvas by traveling into the painted world. It was once owned by Rythe Lythandus, who used it to become a famous painter. First of all, it's Dibella, and you never know what this paintbrush was used for before. What a grand and intoxicating innocence. Second of all, he got lost in his own paintings. Literally, the happy little accidents turned into painted trolls. The totem of mongrel dog Tiber Septim was an item heavily sought after during the events of Daggerfall, and acquiring it is one of the main objectives of the agent. The device itself was required in order to control a great construct, the Golem Numidium, similar to Akulakhan, actually. Due to the immense power of Tiber Septim's golem, many believed that whoever controlled the device controlled the fate of Tamriel. So, as you know, Magnus designed Nirn, and he has 2 artifacts that he made. The Staff of Magnus is an ancient, extremely powerful staff created and used by Magnus, the god of magic. The Staff of Magnus is one of the elder artifacts of Tamriel, and it is vastly powerful and capable of absorbing magicka and health. Legend tells that it is the only artifact capable of containing his immense power. In time, the staff will abandon the mage who wields it before he or she becomes too powerful and upsets the mystical arcane balance it is sworn to protect. It is actually not very impressive because the moment it gets stronger, it abandons you, just like these other Aedric artifacts. The Eye of Magnus is an ancient magical artifact that is connected to the Staff of Magnus. It was first discovered by Atmoran settlers during the late Merethic era when the first group led by Isgramor came to Skyrim and built the city of Sarthal. It is known that Magnus created the Staff of Magnus, but it is currently unknown whether or not he actually created the Eye of Magnus. Either way, the Eye of Magnus was taken to the College of Winterhold and caused more issues. Archmage Savos Aran got Dumbledored, and even more calamities happened in Winterhold because of the college. Ah, Nerevar, look upon the heart. This is indeed the Heart of Lorkhan. I am harnessing its powers to ascertain myself as the one and only true god on Nirn. The Heart of Lorkhan is said to be the Lorkhan's ripped heart. After Trinimac slew Lorkhan, he took his heart from his chest. Auriel decided to fasten the heart to an arrow, and he fired it into the sea. The Red Mountain grew where it landed. The Dwemer tried to harness its powers for themselves by using the tools of Kagrenak, but that caused them to disappear. The false gods of the tribunal drew their power from the heart, but each time they did, they had to go through me. Clearly the heart had chosen me, the one true god, rather than the tribunal. I mean, honestly, if any of them think that they are appealing to the people of Morrowind, they have another thing coming. You just had to destroy the heart, though, Nerevar. What a fool you are. Oh right, there are also the relics of the Divine Crusader made by the 8 Divines. 2 sets of armor, one heavy and one light, and a few weapons. The Enwa Pelinal will break it down in detail later.
Don't you dare steal my spotlight, you knife-eared freak! If you do, you'll be begging to be mortal again. Consider yourself lucky that I'm not unleashing my fury upon you today.
You fool! I am a god! How dare you threaten a god? Nerevar, I have to go deal with him. That is it for this sermon. Please don't forget to honor the 6th house and the tribe unmourned by raising your thumbs, subscribing to my sermons, and commenting on the parchment down below if you would like a tier list version of this sermon.